Good afternoon, grade 12s, and welcome to today's LO lesson. My name is Uling Litziga, and I am your LO teacher for the duration of the lockdown. I just want to move to my next slide so that you can see let me move. All right, there we go. On this slide is my email address, lizikapuleng@yahoo.com. That is where you can email me with regards to anything concerning LO grade 12. So you can speak to me there and I will be able to answer you. Please remember when you email me, right, just say I am a grade 12 learner from the online class so that I can tell the difference between you and everybody else that emails me. So you'll say, "Dear ma'am, I'm so and so. I'm a grade 12 learner from the online class," and then you'll speak to me so that I can know who I am really speaking to. Remember, you are welcome to be proactive. You can speak to me and speak to the rest of the class too. In the chat box, I'll read your messages, and again, you can raise your hand and then we will unmute you and we will hear what you have to say. So today we're doing chapter 12, unit 2, and it is reasons for and impact of unemployment. So it is the reasons for unemployment and the impact of unemployment. So for today's lesson, you need to know the reasons for unemployment. So unemployment means there is no work or no income. So meaning you don't wake up in the morning and go anywhere. When other people wake up and they prepare and they leave with their bags for work, and then there's no income, nothing comes through at the bank at the end of the month. So there are many reasons for unemployment, and it is a worldwide challenge. So it is a problem in almost every country. Maybe in the first world countries like America, Britain, and Australia, Germany, maybe they don't have that much of a big problem. The unemployment rates are like 2%, 3%, like they're very, very low. But obviously with right now with the lockdown, the unemployment is a bit higher. So in some of those countries it has doubled because people have lost their jobs. So what happens is it is a worldwide challenge, and then in developing countries, obviously, it is more widespread, and then in countries that are undeveloped, the the countries that are like some of our African countries and some of the countries in Asia, basically they almost everyone is unemployed, and then there are very few people who are employed. So it does go according to how developed a country is too, or how developed rather an economy is. Right? Let me not say country, but how developed an economy is. Then how well they're doing is we can see by the types of jobs that they are providing or that they are able to make. So South Africa is not the only country to have a high unemployment rate. However, reasons differ from country to country and from time to time. So, like I just said, right now during this period, people have lost employment, whereas in some countries it was improving. For instance, Nigeria's economy was growing at a faster rate and double what they've been growing at. If it was double, I know that it was like they were growing faster than us now, whereas it was different years ago. And yeah, so it is different. So reasons for unemployment, the first reason would be a mismatch between skills and jobs, job opportunities. So we've been criticized in our country for producing matriculants with skills that don't match with what employers want. Even our graduates, they are graduating. We have a lot of people with qualifications, but the qualifications that they have don't really match what the employers want. So, what do employers want? Scarce skills like engineering. We do want skills in engineering, electrical, mechanical, are civil engineers. So those are the types of engineering that require jobs, will provide jobs. So I mean, right now, as you can see, I'm sure everyone has a new perspective about the kinds of jobs that you can do right now. Essential workers are the ones who are working, and the people in retail, and people who are working for the state, like teachers, nurses, policemen, soldiers. I mean, essential workers are nurses, doctors, pharmacists, dentists. Those are people that are working right now. People who are working in theaters, people who are doing admin, and then people who work at home affairs and social development are still working. So whereas other industries are closed, so you do see that there is a trend in, maybe if you wanted to study, you would still want to go into medicine and medical sciences. And I'm sure after lockdown, we will continue to need services in engineering, etc. But you find that maybe a whole lot of children flooded towards humanities, the faculty of humanities, and maybe did lots of Bachelor of Arts. And then you find that there aren't very much jobs for people who have studied in the arts, but then you find that there are these people and they can't get jobs. I mean, most of the time, maybe you'll study psychology, and then after you graduate, then you find out that actually, in order for you to be employable, you might have to have done your master's, because you can only be registered as a psychologist if you have your master's. So without that, then you can't really be registered as a psychologist. So the mismatch of skills, meaning you leave school with the wrong set of skills, you graduate in a qualification that has less jobs, that you won't be able to find jobs in, then that would be a problem. Then corruption, which leads to jobs for friends at overly high salaries and take away jobs from the poor or better qualified people. So this does happen where people sell jobs, people who've been working at companies for a long time and know the ins and outs of the company, people working in the HR department who are part of the decision making process of who gets to work and who doesn't. They're the ones who maybe sell the jobs or hire the people that they know or the people in their circles. And then you find maybe they do share higher salaries with those people. And then I think the biggest sin is that some of these people don't have the qualifications that they need. And then this takes away the jobs for people who are betterly qualified, and also some of those people are people that need to get out of poverty, so they've done what they need to do and go to school, varsities and technicums or universities of technology rather, and they have studied and now they need to get a job. Then someone who maybe didn't finish school is the one that gets a job because they know somebody. So corruption does lead to inequality with regards, or unfairness with regards to who gets a job or not. So it means difficult for first time or new entrants to enter labor market. People with experience are preferred. So this is a complaint that we've been seeing over the years of graduates entering the job market for the first time. So you find that you have like you stayed at school and you did your honors and your masters, or you just left with your undergrad, and you find that when you apply for a job, they say they want someone with 5 years experience. So, and you don't have that experience, so you can't get hired. So what graduates have been asking for is that the private sector and the government, like employers, to try and hire them, understanding that they will invest in them and try to teach them the skills, and then they will learn how to work on the job, and they also have maybe some skills too to offer that they have learned at school. So those that have studied qualifications that are relevant to what to the jobs that they are applying for. And then distance from workplace to home due to the Apartheid Era Group Areas Act, which displaced people. So basically with this is that if you notice how townships and rural areas, like how our town plans are designed, like townships are very further away from like the CBDs, the central business districts where you have the service providers, the retails, and the home affairs, the social development departments, the labor departments, the CCMAs. They're all in town, and they're all very far away from the people. So you find that people usually have to get on to taxis and get onto buses in order to go and work. Even with the job places that we have in South Africa, some of them are in industrial areas, industrial parks, which are even further away from the towns where you go and buy your food at during the weekend or uh, month end. So these are very far away, and people usually have to take taxis and buses and pay lots of fees in order to get to work. Sometimes you find that a lot of the salary that you get goes into paying for the transport that you're taking, and you have very little left. So you spend on transport and lunch, and then you have very little left. And then downturn in the economy and recession where fewer jobs are created, businesses close down. So when the economy is bad, when there is a recession, then obviously some businesses will close down because then the company is not growing in the rate that it needs to grow at. So then there are fewer jobs in the job market for people to get. So meaning jobs have to be created. And then firms going out of business and retrenching workers. So maybe if people don't have buying power, people have lost jobs. Now they no longer have the money to buy products. So you find that some companies will feel the pinch when people don't have money to buy. They will lose customers, and now they're not able to make as much profit as they used to make. So then they will close down. So what you'll find is then they'll start retrenching workers because they can no longer afford to pay for the salaries. So then that ends up with people losing work and unemployment goes up. So graduates' belief in how much they are worth in the job market may lead them to ignore lower paying jobs only be which may be the only jobs available. So you know when you leave school and you know that I am a biochemist, or I am a maybe you are what can I make an example with? Maybe you studied your maths, your BSc maths, so you know that you're a mathematician or a scientist. So you will look for a job maybe as statistics SA, or you want to find a job at a research company. And then if you don't get that job, and then maybe a job opportunity comes up from retail. So what happens basically is that you're not gonna. Some people, well, I don't know if I can really say a lot of people, because then I would maybe not. I would be I would be applying a general statement or a blanket statement. So some people will turn down the job in retail because they feel that I studied 4 years for my BSc at a good university. So now why must I go and pack shelves? Why must I go and count the stocks? So they feel like I won't ever work for a 4,000 rand because my degree that I studied for is worth at least a startup or an entry market salary of 20 to 25,000 rand, because that is what I was studying for. I was studying so that I can get paid, not to now go and work with people who only have matric or so forth. So that may lead to unemployment, where you find that you don't take the opportunities that are there. And then having qualifications and a career path that do not match your interests and abilities. So I know some people have studied maybe an environmentalist, an environmental scientist, but now you want to go into acting, you want to act for the best soapy in the country, or you want to be in a comedy sitcom, or you want to now be an artist and be part of the music industry. So you find that you have these qualifications, but they don't speak into the career that you want to go into. So now you go and apply for a job at the theater, and you find that your qualifications don't match what you need to work at the theater, at the state theater, or what you need to go and work for the Department of Arts and Culture. You don't have a drama degree or a talent management degree, so or diploma, so you are not able to get hired for the kind of job that you want, and you really don't want to follow your path, whether it's nursing or maybe biochemistry, whatever you will have studied for. And then high cost of employment, so firms hire fewer people who do not work. So some people say the laws in South Africa are a bit strict for the employers, so they find themselves having to pay maybe the workers a lot of money, which they usually wouldn't pay if they were setting up their companies in other countries, and obviously that will lead to some companies leaving to go and set up their plants in other countries. So we're talking about MNCs, multinational corps. So and then again, we cannot now give people salaries that they cannot live on, where you find that you got paid, but you can't even afford essentials after you've used up your transport and lunch money. So you find that because of the high cost of employment, maybe employers now feel that they have to pay salaries and staff and maintenance and everything. So it just takes a lot of money to run the company. Then they will obviously cut down their staff, and this will lead to unemployment. And then job seekers become discouraged and give up trying. So job seekers who have become discouraged and have given up trying are also counted as people who are unemployed, because you may have qualifications and then you're like, let me just leave this. I've been looking for a job for 5 years, so you are a job seeker, but you have like become a bit discouraged, or you just feel down, you are stressed, and you really can't do this anymore. So that also causes unemployment. Then lack of education and skills. These are people who don't have, maybe they've dropped out of high school. They don't really have the education and the skills. They have not been trained in any area. So they don't have what employers are asking for. Employers want people who are skilled. Nobody wants to hire someone who is not going to be an asset to the company. So basically, then they will have to hire only people who have a form of skill that will speak to what their company is doing. And then lack of job search skills and information. This is not being able to prepare your CV properly. Your curriculum vitae is not on point. And then your proposals are not done properly. Your application letters are not done properly, and also your cover letters are not done properly, so don't use your you don't use your experience correctly, you don't maybe collect your references correctly. Also, another thing is you might not be looking for a job properly in the correct areas that you should be looking for your job at. So that does cause unemployment, because when employers look at your CV, they look at it's a representation of who you are. So it's either they give you a job or not, depending on what is written on your CV. So fewer opportunities due to a cycle of unemployment. The longer you are unemployed, the more difficult it is to become employed. So if you're sitting there with a qualification and 6 years of being unemployed, then it is going to get more difficult for you to get a job, because now you're sitting here with no experience, and but you have the qualification, so it's just gathering dust. So the longer you sit, the more you lose out on knowledge of your work, and the more like work evolves. So they do say, like, if you spend 4 or 5 years of studying, like let's say the last time you graduated was in 2010, now it's 2020. Some research does say that you find that now your qualification is old. You need to go and improve yourself somehow, enroll for a short course, or go for workshops, or just go for on-job experience again, find a mentor. You need to find a way of getting more information again, because now what you have learned is now outdated. So you find that even if you lose your job, going to another job will be difficult, because now no one wants to hire someone who graduated 20 years ago. So the degree has changed, the economy has changed, but the market needs has changed. So you really get unemployed because of that, and for age too. So specific reasons for youth unemployment. So these are the specific reasons for youth unemployment. Businesses prefer employees who already have skills and experience, and unskilled youth don't will never get jobs, or are most likely to not get jobs. So like I did say, businesses do prefer people who already have skills, because then they don't have to spend money training those people, because training people does cost money. So if you have someone who's experienced, you have someone who's already going to add value to the company at no cost, really. So lack of knowledge on how to apply for study bursaries, study loans, and learnerships. So you don't do your research properly about the bursaries and scholarships, or you don't know how to write your letters, your cover letters, your application letters, you don't know how to write them properly, then you can't apply successfully for the loans that you need to get and the learnerships that you need to get. Then lack of businesses that are willing to do on-job training. Like I said, on-job training is a bit expensive, and sometimes some companies feel like they don't have enough money for paying you to work there. So sometimes when you train someone, that person expects you to hire them afterwards. So not hiring them is disappointing them. So maybe by training someone on in your company and you know that you're not gonna hire them, you feel like you're setting that person up for disappointment. Again, you're spending a lot of money training someone that you're not gonna hire. So some businesses are willing or are not willing to do on-job training. So very few, maybe the big companies are willing to do on-job training, especially when they know that they will have openings on openings in their employment. They'll be able to have jobs. They're gonna have job openings. Um, Expectations of youth may not match reality, so some youth would rather not work than do a job thought to be below their hopes. So someone will say never, I'll never be a waste picker, I'll never work in recycling, never, I'll never go work at a fast food restaurant, I'll never be a waitress, I can't be seen doing that, like it's going to like it's going to look bad on me. I am a cool kid, so be I must look the part. So some youth will lose out on jobs because they just don't want to be the face of what they feel is a low class job or a low class person. So the youth do not have enough information about the role of FET colleges and their courses that lead to jobs. So FET colleges do offer lots of courses that are like in vocational studies, and these courses do prepare you for work in the industries. So we have a lot of manufacturing and industry companies that make products in our country. So they do need fitters and turners, boiler makers, mechanics, and those are the kinds of people that they need. They need artisans, and FET colleges do train artisans. So, but the youth don't know about the vocational courses that FET colleges offer. They all want to go to university because supposedly a university qualification is better than something that you get at an FET college, whereas you find that at an FET college you get skills and skills that will give you employment always at maybe a quicker pace, quicker than what you would get when you are maybe finding employment at maybe looking for a job with your bachelor's. And then some people make high wage demands at entry level, which workplaces are not willing to agree to. So if it's your first job, then you ask for 50K and you don't really have experience, then that is something that your employer won't really appreciate. So what will happen is they just won't hire you. So you should make sure that you don't really demand a lot when you know that you don't really have experience and maybe it's your first job. So what you do is you first work, gain your experience, and then you can make the demands that you want to make. So some youth give up and stop looking for jobs. We did cover that, the youth that get discouraged and that stop looking for jobs. And then there are too few universities to accommodate all applicants. So we do know that there is a higher amount of learners that go to tertiary institutions than there used to be in the past. We have more people writing matric and more people getting bachelor's passes. So now there is not really enough space. Even diploma passes, there is not really enough space at universities for these children to attend school there. So you find that they aren't able to get the skills that they need in order to work good jobs. So basically, in order to get the jobs that the market wants, then you need to have the skills. So they don't really have the skill set, so they don't really get employment. So yes, that would be too few universities to accommodate all applicants. So as an activity, you will try to write down and remember what the reasons for unemployment are. So I think you can make it specifically for South Africa and explore the reasons why there is unemployment in South Africa. So that is the lesson for today. So please join me tomorrow at Tuesday. There I've got the old time, but the new time is 3 o'clock. So please do tell the rest of your classmates and all the other grade 12s that we have LO at 3 o'clock. And this is every day. I mean, please go to Africa Teen Geek, the website, and please sign up for the newsletter so that you can get information from our school about LO and all your other subjects. And you can also get the links. And then on the social media platforms, which is all of them, you can get us at Africa Teen Geeks, and you're welcome to get information from there. So, all right, let me check. Yes, goodbye. Thank you, Lucidi. I also enjoyed the lesson. See you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Thank you for sitting with me for the lesson, and see you tomorrow.